back to an oil and water nugget. These are tips, tricks, tastings, and hacks that we have shrunk down into bite-sized snacks. Today, we have a super useful hack. This is when a recipe calls for buttermilk, which I know you all just have on hand, not. You can actually make your own at home with milk and lemon juice. So when I would bake with my mother when I was growing up, which I did quite a lot, we never had buttermilk just sitting in the fridge. So my mother did this a lot. And it's great. And the benefit of buttermilk is that it adds acid. Thank you, lemon juice. But buttermilk itself has acid. So it activates certain ingredients like rising agents like baking soda. And it adds a particularly tart flavor. So buttermilk biscuits, buttermilk lemon cake, buttermilk blah, 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 whatever it is you're doing. Ready? Let's do this. So in this handy little mason jar, I have about 8 ounces of low-fat milk. You could actually use half and half even. You could use whole milk, you could use 2% milk. In fact, if your recipe calls for and or you prefer a full-fat buttermilk, which is very hard to find in the supermarket, if you make your own, you could control the fat content. That's an extra tip. All right, here I have 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. You could also use vinegar. I would use white vinegar because it doesn't have as much taste as, say, cider vinegar, but I would stay away from wine vinegar unless that's what you're doing. Okay, ready? So I'm gonna pour this in. Obviously, it's gonna curdle. Hello, hello. Then you could just stir this up. You could just let it sit. I'm gonna shake it. That's good. Just let it sit for 5 minutes. BRB. There's the curdling starting to take place. You can see it around the jar. And I'm gonna just pour it out because now that the jar is cloudy, you can't see it as well. And you can see it's quite a bit thicker. It really looks exactly like low-fat buttermilk that you would get at the supermarket in a carton. It probably tastes like that too. It's not as bad as buttermilk. I feel like lightly lemony. It's not terrible, but it will do the trick because it has the acid and the thing is in the blah, blah. And there it is, science. Homemade buttermilk. You're welcome. Thanks for joining me here on an oil and water nugget. I will see you next time. Science.